The federal New Democrats have taken stock of the party's devastating 2025 election loss. The party's review and renewal report came out today, which it says outlines a positive path forward as it rebuilds. CBC's David Thurton joins me now with more on this report. Welcome, David. So what does this report tell us about what went wrong and what the party needs to do to rebuild?
Hey, Karina, essentially this boils down to the reason why the New Democrats had such a devastating outcome in this year's election wasn't for reasons of the party's making. It was totally because and largely because of external factors. So it avoids making any blame, citing blame to Jagmeet Singh, the former leader, or senior party officials, but instead, like I said, cites external factors, namely the question that Canadians had on their mind in that election, which is who is the best person to take on Donald Trump. The report says that the voters largely did not see the NDP as the best party to take that on. They saw it as a binary decision between Poilievre or Carney. I'm going to read you a bit of the report. It says that overall the verdict from campaign staff was that the NDP ran technically a solid campaign, the report says. But, most agreed that even if they did make some better decisions in the campaign, and there were some better decisions to be made, I'll get into that, it likely would not have changed the outcome. Now, this review was commissioned by the NDP's federal counsel. Emily Tammin led the review, and she spoke a bit to me about some of the main findings of this review.
There was a broad consensus that there were challenges in this election that weren't just about campaign execution, if I can put it that way. So that there were external factors that I think even under the best of circumstances and the most brilliantly executed campaign would have made this a real challenge for the party.
So yeah, she did say that there is some room for improvement. So maybe we could just go over that. Notably that voters felt the party did not do a really good job connecting with voters. They lost the Labour vote in particular, so with working class voters. Also, voters were confused about the confidence and supply agreement that the party signed with the Liberals. They were confused, why is the NDP criticizing the Liberal government? And at the same time, they were working with them over the last couple of years. And also, fundraising was a huge problem for the New Democrats. Folks within the party told those conducting the review that there seems to be an allergy for raising money. That was kind of puzzling. But yeah, there's this view within the party that that's somehow beneath the NDP, and there's a defeatist attitude, perhaps among some, that, other parties, such as the Conservatives, they have big money donors, but the NDP can't really pull in that kind of cash. And, the reviewers say that essentially that really handicaps the party and puts it in a really bad situation. And it is a defeatist attitude. And finally, I'll just say that, like I said at the beginning, even if these things change, the people within the party have said that, that likely would not have changed the outcome where the NDP lost that many seats.
So quickly then, what did you think of the tone of the report, and did you get a sense that the NDP grasps the seriousness of the defeat?
I'm not really sure that they did. Like it's like, if you read this report, it's about 20 pages, and they seem to say that, again, it's external factors that are responsible for a worse election performance. It doesn't really talk about the fact that the NDP, their campaign was so well funded. It was, I believe, the most money a campaign under Jagmeet Singh had, something around like $30 million. And at the same time, there wasn't really a good analysis in this report about how that money was spent. I know from talking to sources within the party, there was a lot of criticism that the party put so much money into Jagmeet Singh's riding, and they had little to show, and they knew he probably wasn't going to win that riding. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion in this review about the messaging that the NDP began the campaign. You remember, Jagmeet Singh was saying he was running for prime minister, and the party eventually changed that messaging, saying that, please elect as many New Democrats as possible so we can hold this government to account. That messaging obviously didn't work. The party recognized that, otherwise they wouldn't have changed it. There wasn't a lot of discussion in this report about that. And finally, they didn't really offer any actionable steps that the party can take to go from here. And maybe that's a good thing because, look, they're going to be electing a new leader in March. It allows that leader to, craft the party in their own image, but at the same time, they don't have a lot of resources. They're down to just 7 MPs, minimal staff. It would be nice that whoever is elected leader in March in Winnipeg has something to, hit the ground running
To
with.
start with, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Thanks very much for this, David.
Anytime.